And we welcome you into Blaine High School. Game in progress in the Section 7 playoffs. Glad you could make us a part of your Wednesday night here in North Metro TV. 3-2, it's the visiting Duluth East Greyhounds with the advantage here on the Blaine Bengals. Bengals are the 2 seed in the Section 7 4A tournament. Cast off from 3 here by Ladanian Bowman, and he is 0 for 2 to begin the night from 3-point range. It was a sluggish start. These two teams combined for 0 of 5 from the floor, a turnover apiece before Nano Gimta hit the first bucket for Blaine, and then Duluth East answered the 3 from Ty Nyberg, their leading scorer. Here's the leading scorer for Blaine, the junior Shiloh Ayiti. Stops up short in the left wing, recycles here to Diamond, the senior. Takes it inside here for Blaine, a 6'4", 12th grader, averaging 11.2 a game in his 3rd varsity season, gives Blaine the advantage here at 4-3. And we played just over 3 minutes into the contest. Caleb Winkles spins to the net and scores. And Duluth East, as quickly as Blaine took the lead, are back in front by 1. These teams familiar with each other as section foes. Cut to the rack there, no good on the drop by Nano Gimta. They've already faced off once earlier this year on this floor, as here's going to be a foul, sending Ty Nyberg, the leading scorer for Duluth East, to the free throw line now for the Greyhounds. And they will get Cade Nielsen, number 1 in the book for Blaine, with his first. Nyberg, 18.1 per game score. He's a junior. Misses the first here in the free throws. He's a 79% shooter from the stripe, a rare miss for Nyberg. A guy who is a dual sport athlete. He missed the first 3 games of this season for Duluth East because of a broken arm he sustained during football season. And while he only missed 3 games, he's played in 23 of the 26. We had a chance to talk with his head coach, Rhett McDonald. He has not been at 100% for much of the season, but starting to look like his old self as of late. Tough shot there, the up and under move from Ayiti. And the Bengals' leading scorer is 0 for 2 from the floor to begin the night. 6-4, Duluth East with the lead. There's Nyberg flipping it out to Meyer. Steps back into a 3, no good. Gimta pulls in the rebound now for Blaine. And Gimta running the floor. They'll call a foul before a shooting motion there for Gimta. And they should get Ladanian Bowman in the book there for Duluth East. That is Bowman's first, the Greyhounds first. Each team's committed 1 foul. They get it in quickly here to Gimta. He'll peel back out. Skip pass along here to the good 3-point shooter. You got to ID Buffo. Nice cut to the rim by Diamond, and a good pass to open him up for Buffo. But he comes up short, and Duluth East able to break that pressure for Blaine, but only just. Gimta is going to be called for a kick ball there. And that very nearly was a turnover in the coffin corner. Blaine really liked to throw the not quite full court pressure at opponents, but liked to play with pace and turn defense into offense. Nearly did it there. Each team with an early turnover, but it's mostly been a half-court game the way Duluth East wants it. 6-4, Greyhounds lead it. That matchup earlier this season went 88-65 the way the Bengals played here in January 18th on this court. Tula Gimta freshly entered into the game with a steal. Diamond with a 3. Looked good out of the hand, but rims in and out. And that'll be Duluth East basketball. And I think a foul coming up here on Blaine. A little too physical there from number 5, Nano Gimta, the Bengals' second leading scorer at 17.3 a game. He's got his first in the book here, the second for the Bengals on the evening. 5 minutes played, 6-4 Duluth East in what has been a cold shooting start for both of these teams. The Greyhounds are just 2 of 8 shooting to begin the day, including 1 of 4 from 3-point range. A lot of weather to deal with today, and Duluth East coming down all the way from Duluth to get here to Blaine this afternoon. That one tipped out of bounds there, the active hands of Nano Gimta. And in this 2-seed versus 7-seed matchup in the 7-4A playoffs, Duluth East, they feel confident that if they play well, they have an opportunity to knock off the Bengals. There's Nyberg casting off from 3. And that will come up shy, left it on the front iron, and it tips out of bounds. Nyberg is shooting just 32% in the season. He now leads Duluth East with 61 made threes. As a sophomore last year, he shot better than 40%. And talking with his head coach, Rhett McDonald, told us, of course, that arm injury playing a factor. His shooting stroke, though, the last couple of weeks has started to look like its old self when he was a 40% shooter last year. That's what Nano Gimta does, right to the rim and blows by everybody. Second bucket for Gimta. He's got 4. We're level at 6-6 with just over 12 minutes left to play here in the first half. Tipped out of bounds. This will stay on the Duluth East end of the floor. And a substitution coming for East. Winkles will come out. Roman Durand will come out. And then Shiloh Ayiti re-enters the game for Blaine as Cade Nielsen checks out. And here's what the Bengals like to do. 5 guards on the floor, and you watch their man-to-man defense. Everybody feels confident switching off to anybody else. It is a fluid 5-man crew on defense for the Bengals. Simon Winkles trying to cast off from 3, the big man at 6'6", and a foul as Ayiti was driving toward the rack. You got a couple of Winkles brothers to keep track of on this Duluth East team. Caleb is a senior at 6'4". Simon, his little brother, a couple of inches taller at 6'6". With that last 3-point try, they'll get Nyberg in the book for that last personal for Duluth East. Here's Gimta, the pump fake, takes it inside and draws a foul. They're going to get Bowman with his second here for Duluth East. And they're not going to call this a shooting foul. It'll be an inbound play here for Blaine. But Bowman into early foul trouble, one of the starters for East. He will come out, and Caden Meyer, a sophomore who's come on and gotten increased minutes the second half of the season, takes over for him for the Greyhounds. Into Diamond, hands it right off to Buffo. He thought he got fouled. That shot got partially tipped as it airmailed and didn't hit the rim. Buffo with the takeaway in the other end. Greyhounds cough it up for the 3rd time, and they get it around to Diamond from 3. He hits. David Diamond hits the first 3-pointer for Blaine. 9-6. The Bengals have a lead here. 11.5 minutes left to go. Nyberg with it on Diamond. Flips out with a pass to Meyer. His first touches as he checked into the game in the last stoppage. And that's in and out from Nyberg for the 3. Offensive rebound for Durand. They work it around to Winkles. He drives. Great no-look dish. The foul and 1 on Roman Durand. Well, how about the 6'6" guy, Simon Winkles, trying from 3. He didn't make it. And then a nice no-look slip pass. Check this one out to find his teammate Roman Durand, the junior, now at the line, a chance at a 3-point play. And a hearty high five there with Winkles. He was giving him at least half the credit for that bucket. Durand can't finish off the 3-point play. And up the floor, here go the Bengals. Duluth East, they've turned it over 3 times, but for the most part doing a nice job of keeping Blaine in the half-court offense. Oh, and a runner there by Gimta. He gets it to go. The continuation and the bucket there for Nano. And the seniors headed to the line here for Blaine. 11-8 Bengals. They will get Brennan Meyer with the foul there on Gimta. Look at that finish through the contact for number 5. Nano Gimta, him and Shiloh Ayiti have been carrying the load really all season, but in particular as of late. Both those guys, Gimta the senior who misses the free throw there, and Ayiti the junior who wears number 31, are averaging better than 24 points per game in the last 5 games entering the playoffs. This Blaine offense, they have got a few guys that are liable to go off at a moment's notice. 4 starters averaging double figures, and 3 guys. Here's Diamond with a tough finish in the lane. David Diamond has 7. He's that 4th starter in double figures, averaging 11-2, and there's the full court pressure thrown at Duluth East. A nice job by Bement with a crab dribble to get out of it, and he works it up the floor to Winkles. Blaine have 3 guys who have produced a 30-point or better game this year. So you can't just lock down one guy and expect to come out of Blaine unscathed. Simon Winkles had the pass earlier. He's got his first bucket. 13-10, Blaine leads it. Here's Gimta from 3, left it short on the try. Gimta is a 38% three-point shooter. One of the things that makes the Bengals so tough, we talked about, they play a lot of the times with 5 guards who can all fluidly switch on defense, no problem. A lot of long guards that can kind of guard 1 through 5. And then Blaine have 3 or 4 very capable three-point shooters. About 4 guys they're usually with on the floor. There's a try from 3. No dice from Caden Meyer. And the Bengals make it 1 and done. Here's Ayiti pushing for the Bengals. 18 a game score. Underhand dish here to Diamond. He drives inside. Diamond picks up his dribble, flips it back out to... That was Tula Gimta. Now along to Buffo, back to Tula Gimta. Here off the left-hand corner. Gimta kicks out to his brother Nano. That one nearly stripped. Simon Winkles with a hand in there. Duluth East forces the steal, and Rhett McDonald calls timeout to secure the possession here for the Greyhounds. Wow, nice play. And again, Winkles, the big man, showing off his versatility. He was one of the first guys on the floor. He tipped that ball loose. 9:13 to go here in the first half. 13-10, the Bengals lead it. This is the 2 versus the 7 seed in the Section 7 4A tournament. As we take a look at the bracket here as March has begun in Minnesota. Blaine, it's the best seeding they've gotten in 6 years since they were the 1 seed and lost to Cambridge Zysani back 6 years ago in the section final. They're looking to snap out of a 4-year drought without a playoff win. Anoka are the stalwarts, top 10 ranked in the state. They went 8-0 against the section field this year. Blaine just 15-11, but because of their head-to-head section results, they went 8-3 this year against the other teams you see on your screen. They get the 2 seed, and one of those 8 section wins coming against the Greyhounds here on their home floor back in mid-January. Should be fun, and it sets up a potential Saturday afternoon matchup against Centennial in a rivalry cat clash. That's, of course, the Bengals' #1 rival out there in Circle Pines. Bernie Ward is the first-year head coach of the Bengals. Blaine, remember last year under Lane Pettis, went to 7-20. They lost 80% of their scoring and brought back just 1 starter from a season ago. And Blaine much improved defensively in particular under head coach Bernie Ward. They've got a winning season and are the 2 seed in the section playoffs, trying to end a 4-year drought without a playoff win here in this quarterfinal round. What a job he's done bringing along this talented group for Blaine, as Ayiti guarding is able to stop Nyberg, and he can't actually, and it rolls through for number 0, the junior point guard. He has 6 of the 12 in the early goings here for Duluth East. Blaine still leads by 1. Ayiti, yes, right there to the rim, and there's the speed of Shiloh Ayiti, a walking bucket, a 5'11 junior guard, averages 18 a game. Those are his first 2. 3 from the corner, goes boom for Braden Bement. He's the shooter in form. He hit 5 threes on Friday in the regular season finale, a 93-53 win for the Greyhounds at Hermantown, and he rolls that into the section playoffs here with a game-tying triple. 15 all. Here's Gimta with 18 to shoot. Takes it to the rim. Foul, and the bucket there for Gimta. Will they say offensive foul? Yeah, they're going to say he kicked out the elbow. I got to see that again because Gimta was free to the basket. But they'll say he kind of chicken-winged his defender to get around him here. Wow, that is a very soft whistle. If anything, I thought it was going to be an and-one call. Duluth East, in my opinion, catch a break there, and we stay tied at 15. Worked out here top of the wheel and took it inside, and Meyer just dribbled it off his own foot. Look at that, up the floor. Wow, Nano Gimta, about as quick as you're going to see up the floor of anybody in the state of Minnesota in high school basketball. That guy can flat out wheel. He beats everybody up the floor. Easy transition bucket for the Bengals, 17-15. A steal by Diamond. Now he's got the other Gimta, Tula Gimta, with the deuce on the other end for Blaine. It's a double dose of Gimta, and the Bengals on a 4-0 run to break that 15-all tie. Nyberg guarded by Ayiti. There's some contact. Blaine fans don't like it, but good look at that. That's going to be a foul, and rightfully so, on Ayiti. That'll be his first to send Nyberg to the line. Our officials tonight for the State High School League, by the way, Tim Kimmel, Corey Clark, and Kerry Guerin. Great State High School League crew here on hand in Blaine, Minnesota tonight in the Bengal gym. Ty Nyberg with 6 early, 79% foul shooter on the seasons here. We talked about his injury, the broken arm he suffered in football season. Guy who had a great sophomore year for head coach Brett McDonald last season when the Greyhounds graduated a lot of seniors from 2 years ago. They integrated a ton of underclassmen into a new group, and that team took their licks, going 10-17 last season. The Greyhounds expected to win more games than they have. They come into this year just 10-16. If they can spin an upset here against Blaine today, they can improve upon their record last season when they brought in pretty much an entirely new group of varsity players. Here's Ayiti gliding to the rim, and Ayiti has got a couple of easy ones in the early goings now for Blaine. 21-17. It's easy for him anyway. He makes it look easy. The smooth operator. I love that 1-2 punch at the top of the Blaine lineup. You got Gimta, who can kind of just flat out beat everybody with his speed. Oh, how about that spinorama try from Aaron Bonner? His cold shooting start continues. And then you've got Ayiti, who never looks rushed out there on the floor. He'll step into a three. Look at that. He wasn't rushed on that triple. Shiloh Ayiti, 38% three-point shooter, and Blaine opening up to their largest lead of the game right now at 7. Here's Nyberg looking for an answer. Tripped by an ankle in there, and they'll say he just tumbles out of bounds. No foul. They're letting him play. And Duluth East, their 5th turnover here in the early proceedings. 6 minutes left to go here, first half. Duluth East have not led since it was 6-4 Greyhounds. Tied up at 6-6. Blaine have been in control, and they add to the run. Nano Gimta to double figures with his first made triple, 38% three-point shooter. And it's a double-digit lead for the Bengals for the first time with 5.5 minutes left to go. Nyberg hands off to Meyer. He streaks to the net, kicks out to Bement, passes up the 3 and takes it inside. Now Meyer on Tula Gimta. Bounced inside to Winkles, cuts it back out. Bement for 3, he hits. Braden Bement with a couple of crucial threes off the bench for Duluth East, cuts it back to single digits. As LaDainian Bowman, one of the starters with 2 early fouls, waits over at the scorer's table to check back in. Tula Gimta handing off to Ayiti. Thought about stepping into a 3, throws it into the Duluth East bench. And Blaine with their 4th turnover of the half. Duluth East have managed this game for the most part pretty well, and Blaine 4 turnovers to Duluth East 5 by our count. Here's we've got less than 5 minutes to go till halftime. Blaine have led by as much as 10 here in this first half. This is Nyberg. Left it short. Duluth East needed it. Strong rebound here by Diamond for the Bengals. Gimta fakes the handoff. Wants to take it inside himself. Still Gimta. Double team comes. Gimta with a tough hook shot. That double team came down, and Gimta kind of forced it a little bit there. Maybe would want that one back. 4:20 left to go, and here's Duluth East coming with Bonner. Out to Meyer. Good closeout by Buffo. Worked along to Nyberg. Nyberg driving. Double team comes. Dishes Winkle. Hesitation and a finish. Caleb Winkles, the 6'4 senior forward. And again, what was a 10-point lead for the Bengals briefly is now cut to 5 here in the Blaine gym. 3:50 to go, first half. Ayiti to the free throw line. 15-footer, no. Bement taking it up the floor here for Duluth East. Nyberg's the point guard, but playing off the ball right now. He's spotted up out there in the right side corner. Nyberg inside to Winkles. And he tries to back down Ayiti. Kicked out. Bonner. Aaron Bonner hits the trifecta for Duluth East. The senior guard who missed all of last season with an ACL tear. Another guy that has slowly worked himself back as the season's gone along. Bonner shooting out of an 0 for 3 slide to start the game. Here's Gimta for Blaine, and a whistle. They're going to say a foul on Gimta. They will, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 3 here for Blaine. They will get Ty Nyberg, the leading scorer for Duluth East in the season, with his second. And that's the 5th foul on Duluth East. Gimta, a 64% foul shooter on the season. He's got a dozen after he gets that first free throw to rock through. 24.4 points per game. Gimta's averaging over his last 5 games. He scored 38 last week Tuesday at Elk River. That was the second time this year he scored 38 points in a game. Him and Ayiti have just been on another level for the Bengals as of late, and he goes 3 for 3 on that trip to the stripe to give Blaine a 5-point advantage here in the Bengal gym. Nyberg dishing Bonner. The double team collapses. A strip and a steal here by Gimta. Bengals work it up in a hurry. Tula Gimta on to Ayiti. 2:45 to go first half. This is Nano Gimta, the senior. His younger brother's a junior, wears the number 11 jersey. Tula and Nano, varsity teammates in both basketball and on the soccer pitch for Blaine. Diamond with a little hook shot, can't finish. Duluth East quickly up the floor, and Bonner has got back-to-back here for the Greyhounds. As electric as Blaine have looked at times, Duluth East all of a sudden hanging around in a one-possession game. Ayiti able to stretch that advantage back out to 2 possessions. Gimta with a steal. Ayiti back-to-back in the blink of an eye. Scores 4 in less than 8 seconds for Blaine, and it's 34-27 Bengals. 2 minutes to go here toward the break. And Rhett McDonald over the Duluth East end, I would imagine it can't come quicker here for the Greyhounds as he wants to circle up and make some halftime adjustments. They played well to stay in this game. Duluth East nearly throws it away there. It deflects on to Nyberg. Out to Bonner. He pushes toward the basket, gets around Diamond for the finish. Bonner's got 7 points, and they've all come in the last 5 minutes here down the stretch of the first half. 90 seconds left to go. 34-29 Bengals lead it here at home. This is Gimta. Jump stop into the lane. Good call. That's a jump ball as Braden Bement forced the tie-up for Duluth East. Bengals had the possession arrow, so it'll stay on this end of the floor. Stay Blaine basketball. 1:19 to go till halftime. 18 seconds to shoot on the shot clock here for the Bengals. Flip it inside. That's Tula to Nano, the 2 brothers. Here's Diamond. Casts off from 3 and hits a smooth stroke for David Diamond. His second 3-pointer of the half. That'll get him to 10. And Duluth East get it up the floor here with a minute left. Meyer picks up his dribble, arcs out. Nyberg, deep 3, too strong. And it will bound to the corner where Nano Gimta finds it. He's got at least 5 or 6 rebounds here in the first half to go along with a couple of steals. And his team leading 14 points. He's showing out. Gets it off to Ayiti with a behind-the-back pass. Ayiti inside, and they're going to call a reach and a grab on the foul before the shot. It'll go against Braden Bement. That's his first. And Blaine are now 1 away from getting pushed into the single bonus. Only 38 seconds left to go here till halftime. Inbound play for the Bengals. Underneath the hoop to our left here in the Bengal gym. Gimta in the corner, 17 to shoot. Plenty of time here for the Bengals as he peeks over his shoulder to check the shot clock. Calls the play here with 10 to shoot now. Nano Gimta taking on Nyberg. Gimta wants to go ISO, tripped up as Duran came in on the help defense. I think a clean play, and Blaine turns it over. 14 seconds. Duluth East can hold for the last shot as they trail by 8 here late first half. Nyberg guarded by Diamond. Takes it inside. Nyberg, tough shot. No. Good defense by Diamond. Ayiti will hoist. That's off the line, and it'll take us to the break where Blaine, at one point led by 10 in the first half, they take a 37-29 advantage into the locker room here in the opening round of the Section 7 Boys 4A quarterfinals. You're watching High School Hoops on North Metro TV. Blaine had as much as a 10-point lead in the first half, but Duluth East with a late push, able to cut it to an 8-point ball game heading into the halftime locker room. Take a look at the highlights from the first half. Nano Gimta broke a cold shooting start for both teams, who started 0 for 5 with a turnover apiece, and then David Diamond connecting on one of his 2 first half threes. He had 10. Good response here from Duluth East. A nice pass by Caleb Winkles to open it up to Roman Durand, and then Shiloh Ayiti doing Shiloh Ayiti things with the help of a diamond steal there. He got it to Tula Gimta, and then Ayiti showcasing the all-around game from three-point range, from around the paint. A 3-level score. 4 first-half three-pointers kept this scoreline close as Duluth East connected on 4 of 13 attempts from beyond the arc. Nyberg with a nice headman pass to Aaron Bonner, who scored all 7 of his points late down the stretch, those final 6-7 minutes or so. And then a lot of easy buckets right around the rim for Blaine with their vaunted pressure. They forced Duluth East into 6 first-half turnovers. Shiloh Ayiti with 11, Nano Gimta with 14, David Diamond with 10, and already 3 of the 5 starters for Blaine with double figures in scoring at the half. Those 3 guys were the only ones that scored, save for 1 bucket from Tula Gimta off the bench for Blaine. So a good first half for the Bengals, and Duluth East, after losing the opening tip, will have the inbound here to start the second. 18 minutes left to settle this one, and a trip to the section semifinals on the line here tonight in Blaine, Minnesota. Matt Dean with you here on North Metro TV as Duluth East hands it off to Ty Nyberg. Good pressure to work around that screen by David Diamond. This suffocating defense for Blaine. That is really their calling card this year. They've been better than 12.5 points per game, allowing 12.5 fewer than they did last year. And that's a big reason for their 8-win improvement on a season ago. 3-point try doesn't go for Brennan Meyer. And the first shot attempt of the half, an air ball for the Greyhounds. Ty Buffo conspicuously quiet in the first half for the Blaine Bengals. He did not score on only 2 shot attempts. Here's Ayiti dancing toward the rim, and the floater goes. Shiloh Ayiti, his first basket of the second half. He's got 13, and 1 off of Nano Gimta for the Blaine lead. Nyberg walks it up the floor here across that Bengal paw for Blaine. Kick out. Meyer, too strong in the three-pointer, but hauls in the long rebound and a second chance now for Duluth East. Meyer hesitates inside and draws the contact there from Nano Gimta to earn a trip to the line. That'll be Nano Gimta's 3rd for Blaine. And so now if you're head coach Bernie Ward, you've really lately seemed to, the Bengals have tightened up the rotation to about 7 guys. And for how much of a scoring load Nano Gimta's carried, as we talked about these last 5 games, scoring better than 24 a game. How do you manage his minutes now as he's into foul trouble with 3 personals? Meyer, a 5'9" senior guard. He's playing in his 4th varsity season for head coach Rhett McDonald at Duluth East. 60% foul shooter on the year, goes 2 for 2. And it's 39-31 Bengals, back to an 8-point game. They've held a couple of different 10-point leads in this one. Diamond opened up the angle, got it to Gimta. He hits for the triple. Nano Gimta with his second made 3-pointer. He's 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, and he's got a game-high 17 tonight. And we've not yet played 2 minutes here into the second half. Bonner driving baseline. Double team help came from Buffo. They kick it out to Meyer. Now Bowman, and he's offline on the 3. We didn't see a lot of Bowman in the first half after he picked up 2 quick ones in terms of personal fouls. Here's Ayiti pulling up on the other end for Blaine. No good. Bonner slows it down here for Duluth East. 15:45 left to go here in the second half. Bounce pass to Nyberg, and he throws it away. And that'll be the first turnover of the half now for Duluth East. Timeout called here by Rhett McDonald and the Greyhounds. Winner of this one will take on the winner of Centennial's matchup tonight. The Cougars are the 3 seed in the Section 7 4A tournament. So if Centennial wins elsewhere up here in the North Burbs, Blaine and Centennial will rematch in the semifinal round, which will be playing at 1 p.m. Here's a flashback to the last couple of years in the section playoffs. Blaine taking on Anoka 2 years ago in this section quarterfinal matchup and falling 89-76. David Diamond among some of the few returners that remain from that team. They got Anoka again last year as the home team in the 4 versus 5 seed matchup. Blaine by a possession falls to the Tornadoes, the 4th straight year with a playoff loss. Well, now Blaine with a fresh perspective and a new head coach, and they are the 2 seed in the Section 7 tournament and hoping to end that 4-year playoff drought with head coach Bernie Ward at the helm now for the Bengals. Their 2 seed, as we mentioned towards the top of the broadcast, is the best seeding the Bengals have got in 6 years. They were the 1 seed 6 years ago. Here's Buffo trying from 3. He misses, but is fouled by Ty Nyberg out on the perimeter, and that's going to be Nyberg's 3rd of the game. And for the 2nd time, Blaine will send a man to the line to shoot 3. This time it's going to be Ty Buffo, a 74% foul shooter on the year. When Blaine got that 1 seed 6 years ago, they got all the way to the section final, but lost to Cambridge Isani to go to state. So Blaine still 5-time state tournament qualifiers in school history. Their last trip coming back in 2016. And Buffo only took 2 shots in the first half. Both were 3-point misses. He goes 1 for 3 on that trip to the line. He is only the 5th Bengal on the score sheet here tonight for Coach Ward and Blaine. They've been led by the Stars here tonight. Tough shot by Nyberg. He wanted a call. It's not going to come. Blaine throws it away, trying to push up the other end of the floor. Bonner pitches it underhand to Winkles, and they get it around to the hands of Brennan Meyer. Guarded by Buffo out here in the right wing. Inside to Winkles, backing down Ayiti. Nice cut to the basket there by Bowman, and he finishes for the first time. Scoreless in the first half when he largely sat on the bench in foul trouble. And it's 44-33. Bengals turn it over for a 2nd straight possession. Nyberg gives it up, but it falls fortuitously to Aaron Bonner. His first basket of the second half, and he's got 9. 44-35. The 11-point lead the Bengals had just moments ago, the largest of the game so far. Gimta can't cast off from three-point range. Tie up and a steal, and the Bengals push. Thrown away, trying to get it to Buffo was Nano Gimta, and now Blaine have coughed it up on 3 empty possessions without a shot. 14-11 left to go here in the second half. They've still got a 9-point advantage here at home in the Bengal gym. So we showed you some of the highlights of those 2 quarterfinal losses the last 2 seasons to Anoka. As we showed you in the first half, the Tornadoes, really senior heavy group, looked like the favorites in the section. They're on the other side of the bracket from Blaine, so big for the Bengals to get that 2 seed, meaning they wouldn't have to face the Tornadoes until we're talking about a section final with a trip to state on the line. And David Diamond, you see the pride that he takes in his defense. He gets fired up about a tie-up, and that wins the ball back for Blaine. You got to have that kind of mentality to play as many minutes as David Diamond does. 3rd-year varsity player and one of the vocal leaders on this team. Coach Ward, when we chatted with him earlier this year, told us Diamond's the guy that really is that floor general, in particular on the defensive end, where he calls out the assignments and keeps everybody organized on that end of the floor. Here's Ayiti. How about that roll to the basket with the right hand? Circus shot for Ayiti. It'll go for Blaine. Shiloh Ayiti, the hoop and the harm. And they're going to get Simon Winkles with the foul, rolling to the hoop. And that's a prayer for anybody else, but Ayiti with the finger roll goes up and under. He knew that was good. And he'll finish off the 3-point play, a sweet 16 for a terrific player, the junior guard, working on a special game here for Blaine. We mentioned the 3 Bengals that can all kind of go off for 30 points on any given night. Ayiti is averaging nearly 24 a game over his last 5. He dropped 34 at Coon Rapids earlier this year, and he just had a 28-point game in a section win against Cambridge Isani as recently as Thursday. There's a try from the top of the key, and Duluth East scores on the second chance opportunity. Hitting it was Caden Meyer, a sophomore off the bench for the Greyhounds. 13 minutes left to play, and again, Blaine have looked good, but Duluth East have hit some timely buckets and keep hanging around. That would have been a wonderful make for Ayiti. Tough runner off the finger roll. Nyberg straight to the basket in a beeline to the tin, and he scores to get himself to 10 here tonight. 47-40, and Duluth East, they're more than hanging around. They're within a handful of possessions. Diamond looking for his 3rd 3, left it short. Diamond was 2 for 3 from beyond the arc in the first half, in addition to his usual stalwart defense that he plays on this end of the floor. 12:15 left to go. Nyberg guarded by Diamond. Number 2 getting that tough assignment, but the Bengals, as they like to do, they'll switch on anybody. But Diamond, the primary on-ball defender, it would seem, for Nyberg so far. There's Tula Gimta coming up with a steal, running the floor and finishing. Shades of his older brother. If Nano Gimta's the fastest guy in the Metro up the floor, Tula Gimta might not be far behind the 2 brothers with some easy transition buckets for the Bengals tonight. Tula Gimta's got 4. We're going to get a foul on this end of the floor as Tula Gimta picks up his first and the second of the half here for Blaine. That is 2 fouls on each team now. And Duluth East gives it up on the inbound. A steal by Nano Gimta, works it out. Buffo from off the bench, and he can't connect on the 3-pointer. Buffo's cold shooting start continues. He's 0 for 3. Here's a try on the other end by Bement, and he misses from 3 for the first time. Bengals advance it into the half court. That almost got lost on the bench by Nano Gimta. Ayiti hands off to Tula Gimta. Recycles here, top of the wheel. This is Ayiti. The stop and start, everything but the finish there for Ayiti. And again, I made that comment once earlier. Even on his misses, Ayiti never looks sped up when he's on his way to the basket, and just a little off the line there as Rhett McDonald and Duluth East will call their second timeout of the half. 49-40. Blaine have led by as much as 11 here in this second half. That's the third taken by Coach McDonald. Our scorebug's correct. Just 2 timeouts remaining for the Greyhounds here in the second half. We talked about Bernie Ward leading the Bengals. Rhett McDonald, that is in his 13th season leading Duluth East High School. He took over at the ripe young age of 25 years old when Coach McDonald stepped into the role in the winter of the 2012 season. He took the Greyhounds to their first trip to state in 9 years back in 2021, and a record for Coach McDonald of 185-65 in his time so far at Duluth East. His assistant coaches include Damian Paulson as varsity assistant, Andy Schmitz, and Kyle Markshausen. Damian Paulson was the Class 4A State Assistant Coach of the Year. He was named that for the Greyhounds last season, the varsity assistant on head coach Rhett McDonald's staff. There's Coach McDonald and a storied family, really the first family of high school basketball in Minnesota. His dad, Mike, a longtime head coach at Cambridge Isani. His grandpa, Bob, since deceased, the state's all-time wins leader. His grandpa, Bob McDonald, racked up over 1,000 wins coaching at McGregor, Barnum, and Chisholm high schools. Retired in 2014 and passed away in 2020. Bob McDonald, the state's all-time wins leader. That one batted out of bounds, they'll say, by Duluth East, and it'll be Blaine basketball. Turnover for the Greyhounds, their 12th of the game, 6th already here of the second half. Yeah, Rhett McDonald, his dad coaches at Cambridge Isani, like we mentioned. They're also in this section, and so is Kyle McDonald, Rhett's brother, who is the Forest Lake head coach. You've got a dad and 2 sons who are all head coaches of 3 of the 8 teams in Section 7 4A that the Bengals occupy. David Diamond with the finish and the foul. Chance at a 3-point play. Number 2's got a dozen here tonight for the Bengals. So as they say, the section title, it runs through the McDonald family here in the state of Minnesota. And just statistically, it's always true for at least one game. 3 out of the 8 in the section coached by McDonald's. Here's Diamond at the line, 70% foul shooter on the season, and the senior able to knock that one through. 52-40. 12-point lead is the largest the Bengals have held. Duluth East have not led since it was 6-4 early in the first half. Nyberg, per usual, guarded by Diamond. He'll try to drive on him. He's been a tough assignment. Flipped off baseline here to Bowman. Little 360 shot. Couldn't get the roll. And Blaine's Buffo takes it up the floor, finding Nano Gimta. Inside 10 to play here in the second half in Blaine. Gimta lost the handles on it and stepped out of bounds. One of the Bengals did to turn it over and hand it back to Duluth East. Blaine have had 9 turnovers of their own, but have limited it to 4 here so far in the second half. As we said, 6 and 6 each of the 2 halves for Rhett McDonald's Duluth East Greyhounds. There'll be a foul off the ball. I think they're going to get Winkles there for a moving screen maybe, or they'll just say kind of a push off the ball by LaDanian Bowman. So Bowman picks up his 3rd. So Bowman, number 3 for Duluth East. We'll get a second look at it there. Yep. Kind of essentially was a moving screen there for Bowman. Here's Ayiti breezing to the basket. 18 for Ayiti. He's working on a 20-piece, and an immediate answer by Bowman up the other end of the floor for Duluth East. Shades of Bengal basketball there. As quickly as Blaine scores, Duluth East answers. And Diamond tried to make it in 3 in quick succession. Here's Bowman again, beating everybody up the floor. He'll be fouled by Ty Buffo. And head to the charity stripe here for Duluth East. It's the first on Buffo. And that's a little Blaine basketball there. When we talked with head coach McDonald, you know, he said they wanted to keep this more so a half-court game against the Bengals because of how dynamic Blaine are and getting up the floor. But that doesn't mean you can't pick your spots to push when you see the angles opening. And right now, LaDainian Bowman is doing that for Coach McDonald and the Greyhounds. 54-42. He missed the first foul shot. The second, he refines the shooter's touch. 5 for Bowman, the 6'1 junior guard. 9 minutes left to play here in the second half. Ayiti with Bowman guarding him. Peels back out to the line, takes it into the paint, flips it back out to Diamond. 15 to shoot as Diamond calls for a screen here from Ginta. Diamond, right hand, off the glass, and good. David Diamond starting to shine here in the second half. He's got 5 of his 15 here since the break. 56-43. Blaine keeps Duluth East at an arm's length here in the home gym. 13-point advantage is the largest of the game so far for Blaine. Thrown away by Nyberg in the baseline, but given right back up by Blaine. Euro stepping his way to the lane was Meyer, but he couldn't finish. Duluth East finds another loose ball, and Meyer scores. He'll head to the line with a chance at an and one. Well, a sloppy sequence here for Blaine, and Meyer will draw the foul from Ty Buffo, who picks up his second here for Blaine. And now we got Caden Meyer at the free throw line for Duluth East. Buffo will sit with the 2 quick fouls he's picked up here these last few minutes. Meyer unable to finish off the 3-point play. Meyer has only appeared in 11 prior games in the regular season, 11 out of the 26. A guy that started the year on JV but has been proving a valuable piece off the bench for Duluth East lately. Spinning to the basket was Bonner, and a foul will, I don't think a foul, it'll just stay on this end of the floor as it's batted out of bounds last off of Blaine. Yep, inbound play coming here for Duluth East. Aaron Bonner, you see, wears that knee brace coming off an ACL tear where he missed all of last season. When healthy, and he started to get to that point. Here is Ginta, a steal and a finish on the other end. Nano Ginta, I don't know how much else we can really analyze other than that. He's the fastest guy out there, and when it's one-on-one and he's got a step on you, nobody's catching him. Here's the steal from Ginta. He's got 4 or 5 of these tonight, and that basket getting him to 19 on the evening. And Duluth East cough it up over into the Blaine bench, and the Bengals can make it a little mini 4-0 run here with back-to-back buckets after the turnover. Diamond tucks and goes off the glass. He gets it to go. David Diamond, he's got 17. Ginta's got 19. Ayiti's got 18. And the 3 Bengals stars are showing out here tonight in the playoff opener. 60-45 and a 15-point lead. Diamond's going to be called for a reaching foul in what'll be individually his second, Blaine's 5th of the half. Inbound to Bowman, and Ayiti almost clawed that one away for another Blaine steal. Nyberg from the top of the wheel. Good defense by Ayiti. They work it around to Bowman. Cuts inside from the 3-point arc. Bowman with a nice jump stop and roll off the window. Cuts into the largest lead of the game for Blaine. It's down to 13. Inside 7 to go, second half. Ginta, he thought he had it stripped off of Bonner's hands. They'll say it kissed off the fingertip of Ginta last. It's a Blaine turnover. Turnovers have now gone 14 to 11. with a handful more here for Duluth East by our count. 6:40 remaining in the second half. Matt Dean with you here on North Metro TV. Wednesday night playoff hoops as Nyberg draws the foul here from Cade Nielsen. The 6'5" junior forward is going to pick up his third, and Nyberg, the 6-foot junior point guard, is headed to the line here for Duluth East. Yeah, good crew for you here tonight for this playoff broadcast. Ted LaRue directing in the truck here on North Metro TV. Out there with Elena Arness and Rand Thill. A.B. Becker, Charles Brolin, Ben Beckers, and Ethan Dorr also out on the crew here tonight on North Metro TV. Nyberg has got a dozen after hitting those 2 foul shots. He leads the Greyhounds in scoring with 18 on the season on average, 12 tonight. Thrown away by Ayeti. Sloppy pass for the Bengals. That is what is keeping Duluth East in this game. But still a hill to climb here, down by 11. Nyberg driving on Gimta. Stops up. Blaine fans wanted to travel, and they'll cash in. Braden Bement with his third three-pointer off the bench for Duluth East. And every time we keep feeling like Blaine are going to pull away, Duluth East have a timely bucket to answer back with on the other end. Ayeti driving the basket. He'll be fouled. And foul shots coming here for Blaine as they get Braden Bement with his second for Duluth East. No shots. They'll say that was a foul on the floor here for Ayeti. 5:46 left to go. Still an 8-point game here in the Bengal gym. Nielsen inbounding to Diamond. Drives baseline. Looking to pass all the way. Gimta hits. Tula Gimta for 3. His first triple of the night. A 41% three-point shooter. He can get it done, and Tula Gimta providing some punch off the bench. He's got all 7 Blaine bench points here tonight. Brennan Meyer can't cast off an answer on the other end with a 3 of his own. 5:18 to go. Ayeti with a tough one around the rim, and now he'll head to the foul line for shots this time.
Duluth's foul is on number 11, Caleb Winkles.
They get Caleb Winkles, the senior forward's first for Duluth East. And Shiloh Ayeti working on an 18-point performance up here at the foul line for Blaine. Hits his first. Only the second time Ayeti's got to the free throw line here tonight. Blaine in the first half were 3 of 4 with Nano Gimta doing all the damage from the stripe. But Ayeti since then is now 3 for 3 here in the second half, and he almost took one away with a steal there after getting to 20 points on the night as Blaine tries to break a 4-year losing skid, a 4-game losing streak in the opening round of the section playoffs. Aaron Bonner answers with a deuce for Duluth East there, and it's 65-54 with 4:50 left to go. Tula Gimta inside, works it out to Ayeti, driving on Bonner, spins. Ayeti with the shooter's touch, it goes. Shiloh Ayeti, 22 now on the night. Duluth East pushing as they're running out of possessions here to get back into this game. Nearly tipped away by Diamond. Nyberg dancing toward the basket. A foul. They're going to get one of the Gimta brothers. And the official saying it caught the elbow. That's Corey Clark. The official making the call saying it is the 4th on Nano Gimta. So how big might that be with inside 5 minutes left to go? Nano Gimta's he's got no more fouls left to work with. Next one, and he's out of this game as Bernie Ward argues his case over on the Blaine bench. And good work by the crew. Corey Clark kind of hearing out Coach Ward and giving him the explanation. As much as Bernie might not like it, there's a dialogue going over there. Ty Nyberg goes 1 for 2, 13 points, leads the Greyhounds here tonight. 18 per game score. Ayiti inside. He averages 18, throws it away. Another Bengal turnover. This is Bonner running the floor and finishing. Aaron Bonner, maybe the best overall athlete on this Duluth East squad. He did not see action at all until the start of the high school season. No AAU ball, nothing in the offseason as he recovered from that ACL tear that saw him miss all of his junior year. Diamond, thought he might have stepped on the baseline there. They'll say he was fouled. And a non-shooting foul here will put Duluth East Brennan Meyer into the book.
That's his first, team second.
They've got that as the first for Meyer. Second only for Duluth East here in the half. Blaine still have one more foul to give before they put Duluth East into the bonus. And Diamond now to 18. There could be 3 different Bengals that reach 20 points here tonight. Another free throw would put Diamond within 1. He'll come up short and stay at 18. 18 for Diamond, 19 for Nano Gimta, and a cool 22 for Shiloh Ayiti. We mentioned 3 different Bengals. That's Buffo, Nano Gimta, and Ayiti have all had a game, at least one, of 30 or more points this season. David Diamond not far behind. He's got a 20-point game this year. So all 4 of those starters who average double figures all have got at least one 20-point game on the season. It is truly a multifaceted offense as Nano Gimta misses, but his little bro picks him up with the offensive rebound, and the possession stays alive for Blaine. 3 minutes left to go, and they've got an 11-point lead here on the home floor. Diamond drawing contact, but not enough to warrant the foul. Duluth East up the other way. Nyberg, tough shot. He gets it to kiss through. 15 points for Ty Nyberg, and a foul as Blaine gets it in to Gimta. And Duluth East, you can see, pressing a little bit here as they're running out of time. It still remains a 9-point game. And I misspoke a little bit earlier. That is now going to put Blaine into the bonus here. Nano Gimta's 1-1. That's the 8th team foul on Duluth East. Nano Gimta with 19 points here. And he hits the front end of the 1-1 to get him to 20 points on the night. He had come into these section playoffs averaging 24-4 a game over his last 5 to end the regular season. A guy that averaged 7.5 points per game as a scorer off the bench last season. Gimta thriving in a starter's role under head coach Bernie Ward this year. 70-59. Bengals lead it. Much needed 3 for Bonner, didn't go. And with 2.5 minutes left to play, the Bengals still have a double-digit lead. As fast as the Bengals like to play with that breakneck speed, they're going to start milking some shot clock here a little bit. Gimta stripped from behind, and the right call as Braden Bement poked it free, but it was off of his fingertips last. 2:15 left to go. 20 left to work with here in the shot clock if Blaine want to start milking some clock here down the stretch. David Diamond will take Cade Nielsen's place to inbound it. Gets it into Nano Gimta. Blaine have not won a playoff game in 5 years. 4 losses in a row in the section quarterfinals as a travel call on Bonner turns it over for Duluth East right after the Bengals had given it up. We showed you the highlights the last 2 years against Anoka. Blaine 3 years ago lost to Duluth East the last time these two teams matched up in the section playoffs, so a loss to the Greyhounds included on that 4-year losing skid in the section quarterfinals. And head coach Bernie Ward will call timeout here for Blaine with just over 2 minutes remaining. So Coach Ward, the chance to draw something up. We'll give a little shout out to Coach Ward's staff. His primary varsity assistant is Jake McNollen. Joe Clausen is the JV coach, who's also on the bench for all varsity games on the season. And Justin Dietzig, the B squad coach, typically joins Coach Ward on the bench for varsity games. Coach Ward taking a full-time position at Blaine High School this year. He's also a math teacher at the high school. An alum of Anoka High School. How of a storyline would that be if Blaine, as the 2 seed, if they can go chalk and make it to the section final, it would likely be against head coach Bernie Ward's alma mater in the Anoka Tornadoes. Coach Ward was at Andover High School the past 3 seasons before coming over here to Blaine, and likely that path to the state tournament will go through the building at Anoka. Starting in the semifinal round on Saturday, there's going to be 4 teams remaining. Whoever the highest seed left is, which if Anoka wins in the 1 versus 8 elsewhere around the Metro tonight, that would mean all 4 of the games, all 2 games on Saturday involving 4 teams would be at Anoka High School, where Coach Ward played his high school basketball for the Tornadoes not too long ago. Young head coach. And what a year it's been for the Bengals. 15-11 regular season, an 8-win improvement on last year's team that went 7-20 and skidded to that 4th consecutive section quarterfinal loss. And now Duluth East, with under 2 minutes left to go, they're basically going to have to foul the rest of the way and hope Blaine misses free throws down the stretch. Tula Gimta, 61% from the line this year. He misses the front end of the 1-and-1. That is the 9th foul on Duluth East, so the rest of the way, Blaine are going to shoot 2. 11-point game, 1:50 to go. Big block as Cade Nielsen comes up with a swat here for Blaine. Nielsen is the only starter who doesn't average double figures, with a 6'5" junior showing he can make an impact without scoring for Blaine. Big block, 90 seconds left to play. Blaine playing a little not quite 4 corners, but playing keep away here. And Diamond able to take it to the rim, and he wasn't fouled. 20 points for the senior tonight. 1:20 left to go. Nyberg casts off and hits a 3 to answer on the other end. So it makes it a 10-point game. And Duluth East, they've still got a lot of ground to make up, but we'll have a timeout on the floor with 1:15 left to go. 10-point swing. It'll be Blaine basketball out of the break. Ty Nyberg to 18 points with that made 3-pointer. And what a game it's been. Good crowd on hand here in Blaine for the opening round of the Section 7 4A playoffs. Adverse weather conditions outside, of course. And credit to Duluth East. They had a long way to go and a lot of snow piled up between them to get here. But thus is the way of the Greyhounds. They are by far the biggest high school in the Duluth area. They're the only Class 4A school in the Duluth area, and the closest 4A school they have to them is Cambridge Isani. It was a short trip for these 3 to come here to Blaine tonight to take in some playoff basketball here in the Bengal gym. Matt Dean with you here on North Metro TV. Ayiti will inbound to Nano Gimta. Bengals take it up the floor, and a foul. No, they're not going to foul. It'll come down. They want to get one of the more ideal candidates to take the foul shots, and they were targeting David Diamond. Probably a good idea. Nano Gimta's 64%. They did not seem to want to foul him. Diamond is a 70% foul shooter, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 here in a 10-point game. Diamond working on a 20-piece. Ayiti and Gimta all have scored at least 20 tonight. The 3 leading scorers for Blaine on the year. That one will go through. Ty Buffo is actually the 3rd leading scorer. He averages just shy of 15 a game. He's only got 1 point tonight. Diamond has picked up the slack. 11.2 per game scorer. Has got more than double his average at 22. 60 seconds to go. A strip by Nielsen, and he'll be upended for a foul here with 56 seconds left to go. I mean, that should just about do it here in a 12-point game. Blaine are in the double bonus, so Cade Nielsen will go to the line to shoot 2 as Brennan Meyer picks up his 2nd for Duluth East. Nielsen has not gone to the line much this year, but he's 5 of 6. And Nielsen onto the score sheet. Diamonds, Gimta, and Ayiti have combined for 65. Cade Nielsen with 2, Ty Buffo with 1, Tula Gimta leading scorer off the bench with 7 tonight. Ty Nyberg, that'll cap a 20-point performance from him. Duluth East will continue to foul as they get Tula Gimta here. And it's 76-64 Bengals. So close from that 4-year playoff drought from snapping here, this big win for the Bengals. Gimta, the leading scorer off the bench with 7 tonight. The junior and younger brother, and Nano, who's got to the 21 here tonight. Ayiti and Diamond sharing the co-lead with 22 apiece. That one goes for Tula Gimta. And there's a tough shot by Nyberg. 35 seconds left to go. Long rebound falls to him. Duluth's East season winding down, as rising up for the 3 was Brennan Meyer, and he's going to be fouled from beyond the 3-point arc. A hard closeout by the Bengals, just not necessary at this juncture in the game. Up 13, and I mean, the margins, the chances are slim here for Duluth East, but you don't want to give them extra opportunities here to shoot 3 and not take any time off the clock. Meyer, a 60% foul shooter, senior guard here, listed at 5'9", one of the starters, averaging 11-2 a game. Been a really stable player for Duluth East down the stretch, according to his coach, Rhett McDonald. All 4 points for Meyer have come from the foul line. Braden Bement will come out, and Caden Meyer, the sophomore, will check back in off the bench, as Meyer tries to knock through his 3rd free throw. Unable to do it. Tula Gimta with the rebound. Blaine fouled immediately. 26.9 seconds left to go. It's an 11-point game. Bengals are going to check that first box, as they will be on to the section semifinals. Their game scheduled for 1 in the afternoon on Saturday, which, if the favorite won, that would be a matchup with the Centennial Cougars, a team that the Bengals split a pair of regular season meetings with earlier this year. And there'll be another foul here coming on Nano Gimta. We do not have a score at this moment from Centennial, but I'm firing up the phone and we're getting in touch with Nick Walsh ASAP. He's at the Centennial game. He'll be on the call with you on Saturday alongside Bill Hupp, regardless of who the Bengals are playing. Saturday at 1. Again, we'll be on tape delay here in North Metro TV. Assuming Anoka won elsewhere in the Metro, that will be a game at Anoka High School. 22 points for Diamond. Nano Gimta hit those last 2 free throws to get him to 23. The Blaine Bengals get 3 20-point performances and roll on to the section semifinals to snap a 4-game losing skid 4 years in a row in these section quarterfinals. Blaine 81, Duluth East 66, as Blaine picks up their 16th win of the year, and their season continues on to Saturday afternoon. Back for more here from Blaine High School, where we'll interview a couple of the standouts for Blaine as part of our post-game coverage next here on North Metro TV.
Come to Ham Lake and see how good life can be. Conveniently located only 20 miles north of the Twin Cities on Highway 65, yet Ham Lake has kept its rural charm. Residents of Ham Lake enjoy 1-acre minimum lots, giving you space to live with abundant natural green spaces and recreational activities like boating, fishing, golf, disc golf, camping and playgrounds, and tons of seasonal fun all year round. Ham Lake is home to one of the top school districts with consistent high scores in standardized testing and community ratings. Ham Lake is a business-friendly city and willing to work with businesses and developers of all sizes. Whether you are just starting out or looking to grow, Ham Lake has the business opportunities you've been waiting for. Life in Ham Lake moves a little slower, and that's the way we like it. Ham Lake offers space to live, to grow, and space to relax. Come visit Ham Lake and see for yourself what you are missing. Ham Lake is convenient country living.
Back here in Blaine with the Bengals coming off an 81-66 victory here, opening round of the Section 7 4A playoffs as they knock off Duluth East. And the 2 seed move on to Saturday in the semifinals. We had 3 upperclassmen get at least 20 tonight. I'm here with all of them. We couldn't pick. These guys combined for 67 of the 81 for Blaine tonight. We'll start with one of the senior co-captains, David Diamond. And David, the big thing for you guys this year, we saw you were part of that team last season. Blaine could score last year. You guys could score with anybody in the state. You guys have the defense to back it up. And how do you guys use that defense? How does that spark what you're doing on, I'll call it the fun end of the floor? You guys get to do all the scoring.
Well, it really just starts with practice. We run every single practice, so when we step on the floor, we're more conditioned than the team. So it's really the effort. Our defense plays into our effort and how we work at practice. And we just run teams off the floor most of the times. When they're gassed, we're going 100%.
It's paying off. You guys are within 2 points per game of the scoring from last year, and you're giving up less than 12 fewer points than last season too. So really paying off for you guys. This was a 2 versus 7 seed matchup, but it feels like this section is pretty even. There's a lot of tough teams that are close. What did you guys talk about that you had to worry about for this Duluth East team? Not be overconfident having beaten them before this season.
Well, we know coming into sections, we're going to get every team's best game. Every team wants to win. Nobody wants to go home, especially Duluth East with a lot of seniors. So we just come in, we give it our best game, and we come out on top. It's 2 seed versus 7 seed.
All right, David, last thing. I'm about to talk to the 2 leading scorers on the season. What's impressed you about a little bit on Shiloh, a little bit on Nano, and what they've done for you guys this year?
We all knew Shiloh was going to be a big impact coming into this year. You know, he's always been a natural scorer. His junior year, he's taken off. I'm expecting big things from his senior year, too. You know, Nano came on the team last year. He was a big key. He started last year. So we knew Nano was going to come and do his job as somebody who started almost every game last year. So, you know, we just trust in our guys, trust in our 2 leading scorers, and they provide for us on every night.
All right, that's David Diamond, again, the senior who had 22 tonight. Shiloh Ayiti, you matched that with 22 of your own tonight, the junior. Tell me about what you were doing to get ready for this game, Shiloh. A big playoff game, kind of really your first, playing varsity in the section playoff game. It's been a little bit since Blaine has won. I don't know if you guys know about that history at all. It had been a few years since Blaine had won a section playoff game. Well, what's that mean to you guys to come away with the victory here?
I think it's a big thing. For the past maybe 2-3 years, we haven't gotten out the first round. And mentally, I think we were all locked in, trying to get the win and finish the job.
What was working for you guys tonight? A lot of easy buckets, like all 3 of you to get to 20. You had a lot in transition where you were clean right to the rim. What was working for you guys to get those easy looks?
I think we play very fast and very aggressive, so we get down the court very fast. We pass the ball to each other, and we get pretty easy layups off of reversals.
All right, we heard a little bit about yourself and Nano from David. Tell me about what David does so well. He helps you guys look good, too, with what he does both ends of the floor, right?
David had a good scoring night tonight, but he's really good at passing the ball to everybody. He dishes out the ball to everybody, makes sure he gets his assist in, and I think that's what he did good tonight.
Great, love it. Shiloh Ayiti again, one of the standouts for Blaine. We'll finish out. We're going to talk to Nano Gimta. Nano, you had 23, edged out these other two guys to lead the Bengals in scoring tonight. Playoff win. It had been a few years, 5 years since Blaine had actually won a playoff game. What's that mean for the program for you guys to continue to take steps forward this year? You were a part of that team that struggled last season.
So we knew these past few years that we weren't like doing good in the playoffs, and we realized that we got to like lock in this time. And we knew that we were going to get Duluth East's best game. So coach was telling us like seeds don't really matter at all. You're going to get Duluth's best game, and we just went on the court and we competed with them, and we just ran them off the court.
One of the things that seems pretty impressive about you guys, a defense that turns into a lot of the easy looks on offense. It seems like you guys are pretty comfortable just switching on and off with man defense and anybody. Is that how you guys feel? There's 5 of you on the floor who are all just athletic guards. And do you guys feel comfortable just we can take anybody 1 through 5?
Yeah, so we like switching because we know we're all athletic. We don't have like big guys that can't run. Like our big guy Cade, he's tall, but he moves like a guard, so switching really helps us like bring the pressure on teams and like turn a lot of teams over like better than we did last year too.
All right, last thing, I had these guys kind of talk about you and each other. Tell me about, you mentioned Cade Nielsen. He had a big block late. Tula Gimta, your brother, gets some nice juice off the bench with 10 points. What were the role players who weren't popping off in the score sheet tonight? What did they do well for you guys?
I know, like, you look at the scoreboard and you think those guys don't do anything, but Tula and Cade are, like the heart and the motor of our team. They bust their ass, they get rebounds, and they're just so fun to play with, and they give it 100%.
Fantastic. I haven't seen any scores, but it might be Centennial coming up on Saturday. That would be the opponent for the Bengals, likely at Anoka High School. Again, we'll figure that out after we wrap here. Our thanks to all 3 upperclassmen for Blaine. They come away with the 81-66 win. Matt Dean signing out. Thanks to Ted LaRue and our terrific North Metro TV crew. Signing out here from Blaine High School. The Bengals get the win in the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. This has been a presentation of North Metro TV.